Let's stop lying to the people we love. It's Halloween. It's a great time to tell them the truth. There are monsters everywhere in all of our lives. Is there anyone out there who doesn't have a friend whose life was ruined by cancer or a stroke or COPD or diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, cirrhosis? They have us walking like those people in The Walking Dead. They have us walking around with bags hanging from us and tubes. And we lose our friends even though they're still alive because their brains have faded from reality. And the simplest thing is to teach our young people they are what they put in their bodies. What we cook for them, the people we love. We spend more time going to the movies, going to their sporting events than we do making sure we're giving them healthy food, building up their immune systems. And one of the best kept secrets is garlic. We're all told that garlic is so good for us. Some people just chew it raw and think, oh, I really helped myself today. Bullshit, you didn't. Every bag of garlic should say on it, there's 2 enzymes in here, and when you crush it, they start to interact. All the scientists call garlic the wonder drug, Alice in Wonderland, because those 2 enzymes, when you crush it, start to interact and create allicin. Allicin is what fights those 8 monsters out there, but it can't form if you put it in the heat right away. Wait 10 minutes and you got all the allicin you can handle. It's like 2 giant shots of penicillin. Just because you waited 10 minutes, why don't they have that on every bag? I get so pissed. And I know it's not that they want to sell medicine. All our doctors work their butts off trying to help us for all the crap we did to ourselves all the years of eating all the shit we ate and not going organic. Now, if you can't afford to go organic, at least every vegetable you bring home, wash it in salt water. Every farmer will tell you that salt water kills bugs. They can't breathe in salt water. So even though I have an organic farm, I wash everything in salt water, then in regular water. But if you're buying it in the grocery store and you don't want to pay for the organic, soak it for 10 minutes in salt water. It takes off 80% of the pesticides. So that can help you if you're not able to buy organic. So what I've used all my life, my grandmother, great-grandma, all of them, had this vile pot on the back of a stove. It was this black liquid. It was dandelions. So there's another big well-kept secret in our country. Dandelions, I would say, are in the top 10 foods the Lord gave us. But I see people in their yards killing the dandelions that could save their life with Roundup, which takes their life. How comical is that? So let me put pesticides up there with the monsters we live with. They're everywhere. Why do we have to buy organic? Because our world, like take an onion. Vidalia onions have no value anymore. They bred them and bred them and bred them till bigger, sweeter, and there's no nutrition left. So when you buy onions, buy the smaller gold ones because they make your eyes water more, but they're full of nutrients. So let's talk about that other well-kept secret. For your family, you're going to age your garlic now. And if you eat it raw, unless you tell me, you're going to keep it in your mouth for 10 minutes, crush it or chop it so the 2 enzymes start to work, then wait 10 minutes, then chew it up. Then you just had yourself 2 big fat shots of penicillin. And the penicillin created by allicin, the reason the scientists and doctors live on it, you never get used to it. You don't build immunity to it. It will help you forever. I live and feed my family on bone broth, organic bone broth. I haven't had a flu or a cold since I can remember, 30, 40 years. When I grew up and got married, I got away from all the things my grandparents taught me. That vile pot on her stove was dandelions that she would bring in. They never got rid of the water completely. They just kept adding some. It was black and vile. So many children were given olive, cod liver oil. I was given dandelion broth. And I hated it, but you didn't get sick. So I got away from it till later in my 30s, and I got tired of missing work, getting sick every time the kids brought something home, so I went back on bone broth, and I updated it to modern things. I began growing my own dandelions, which you see here. I grow 2 varieties, the regular green one and the red ones. And we'll be discussing today why two types. You don't have to have two. You can buy them at Whole Foods most of the year. I freeze them in bone broth in tight packages. Out of 1 gallon of bone broth, I can freeze 10 packages for 10 big pots of bone broth in the winter. So I pick it wild. When I have cleaned up the property, I buy it at Whole Foods till the price goes crazy or they don't have it in some of the months. Now, one of the other best kept secrets in America for fighting the monsters that are in our lives that we should tell our kids about are the onions. The allium family is incredible. The number one for us is scallions. Number two is shallots, and on. But all alliums will make you live longer. What people don't know is the best part of the onion is this dried up little piece of paper, because its job was to stop the sun from getting to the onion. It is so full of antioxidants. It's amazing, but you can't eat it. You wish you didn't. Your dentist will wish you didn't. But when you cook it 12 hours in your bone broth, you pull all those antioxidants out of the onion peels and then you strain it away. So all week, I save all the onion peels in my refrigerator in a bag. Do not wash them until you take them out to put them in your broth, because they will mildew. So all week, I save all my peels, red ones, gold ones, and I keep them separate. When I make bone broth, I make some dark, rich bone broth with red onion peels, red onions themselves, and the dandelions I grow with the red stems. Then you have a very rich, dark broth for your beef gravies and all those stews and things. My normal yellow onion broth, I use just regular green dandelions. Now, do you have to have red or green? No. Any dandelions will help further your health, your family's health. When you make your bone broth, everything you make after that, you can make from that. Just instant messenger me for the bone broth recipe, for recipes I make with it, all my soups, all my stews, all my broths, all my soups, Greek soups, wedding soups, Asian soups, all have my bone broth in it. Why wouldn't I want it to start with the healthiest broth on earth? Now, there's many sites online you can see that will be selling you bone broth. The one in Costco looks like someone emptied their urinal. That yellow liquidy crap is horrible. And here's how you can test bone broth. Good bone broth, when you cook it way down, should shake like Jell-O, because it should be gelatinous, because it's pulling all the collagen out of the skin and bones of the chicken. If it doesn't, throw it away. I get upset too with these sites that want to sell you doctor this and doctor that's bone broth. Read a little bit. They're not organic. So it's okay to have bone broth to make you healthier, but don't make it without pesticides in it. I'm sorry. And they charge $28 for a small box. Now, I call mine liquid gold, but it doesn't cost $28 to make your own. It's a royal pain in the ass. No question. So I make 2 gallons at a time. I freeze it in milk containers like this. BB, sometimes I put LG for liquid gold. And what's nice about freezing them in these, it's not fancy, and I give it away like this to clients and friends. But if I'm at home, I get home quickly, I want to make pork chops and gravy, I want to make veal parmesan and gravy, anything. I want to make some quick wedding soup. Just fill a sink full of hot water, pop this in. In 5 minutes, it'll be loose. You can open it up, put it in your pot, warm it up, you have right away. You don't have to thaw it out the day before. You're ready. The same with the dandelions. Now, alliums, when you're saving through your cooking through the week, and you save, I don't care if it's a scallion, a leek, anything in the allium family, save all the stems in your same bag, but dry them before you put it in the bag. So when you take it out to make broth, whether you do it once a month, once a week, they're ready for you to go. So let's talk about how to make bone broth to fight the monsters that are in our lives. Save the people you love with what you put in their tummies. So we're going to start, of course, with organic chickens. I get them at Costco. You can get them many places. So you're going to wash them and scrub them. And I have them ready here so I wouldn't bore you to death. Pop them in your boiling water. 2 chickens makes 2 gallons of finished broth. You wash the giblets, and yes, they go in as well. And you're going to put the week's peels that you saved from any and all alliums you cooked that week, you're going to put the French trio. And I always try to do it in equal amounts. Today I'm a little shy on carrots. No one will ever know. So about the same amount of celery. Onions, when you chop the whole onions, don't bother to peel them because you want the peels anyway. So it should be, whenever you use the French trio, I don't care what, spaghetti bolognese, yada yada. Carrots, celery, and onions, I always put them the same amounts. I don't have to measure them that way. And the flavors blend. So today that's all the carrots I have because I'm making 2 batches today. I put one on last night to cook all night so I can show you the final steps when your broth is done, because this one that I'm putting on now with you has to cook for 12 hours. I can't bore you that long. So that pot I started last night, it's ready to be processed to put away, which you'll see next. This pot we're putting on. So if you instant message me for the recipe, you're gonna see in a pot this size, I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm gonna put 3 teaspoons of salt. And I do use kosher salt for cooking. You're gonna put 4 or 5 bay leaves. And it's not rocket science, sis, not rocket science. All this stuff together is gonna fight your monsters. But it is nice to have the recipe. Now today I'm gonna use 2 kinds of dandelions. The pot over there that I made last night is a deep broth with all red dandelions. Today's I'm doing both. So it'll be not the lightest that I make and not the darkest that I make. Now, we have in there everything we need except the garlic. So we are going to talk about the best kept secret in America, bone broth, organic, and what it does for you. And the second best kept secret is how to use garlic for your family and make it wonderful. So I'm going to peel it, smash it, and wait 10 minutes before it hits the heat. It cannot create Allison for you if it hits that heat before 10 minutes. So, can you do it in 5? Yeah, you'll have half the benefits. Why would you want to do that? 10 minutes is the scientific number to get the most you can out of your garlic. So, that's going to sit here till and I usually have a little timer sitting here so I don't screw up. So say I'm making sauteed vegetables with dinner and steaks in the broiler. I'm going to crush my garlic, get all my vegetables ready before I put the garlic in the pan. Then I'm going to put it in, get it golden, take it out, press on it with a turner real good to get all the juice out of that garlic, but age it first, or it's a exercise in futility that is a sad waste of your energy and the potential you have to fight those monsters that we all live with. I wish schools would start teaching young people how to eat healthier so they don't end up walking around like the Walking Dead. And so this Halloween, maybe start to tell your family and the ones you love about the monsters that are out there. I know personally, I have friends who have gone through these 8 things. I have friends right now, I just had to sell their home because he has Alzheimer's. Greatest couple, I adore them. I got their card last night. They've moved up to New England so the kids can help take care of him. Fabulous couple. And her card said, we're facing the 80s with dementia. I can't tell you how much this couple loved each other, and I wish they had always eaten this way so it would be 102 before he had Alzheimer's. There's no question the research shows bone broth fights cancers, almost every cancer there is, because it goes into your intestines. And our intestines get little holes in them, and they call it leaky gut. And what that does is it stops your guts from creating the immunities you need to fight so many things. Bone broth goes in there and heals it. Additionally, we gain weight not from what's in our stomach. All your stomach does is mix enzymes to digest it. You gain weight from all the time the food's in your intestines. So you see these people with a fast metabolism, everybody says, well, why don't they gain weight? They don't gain weight because their body moves the food through, and this is vulgar, but farmers say like shit through a goose. So if you have a fast metabolism, your food's in your intestines less time, you gain less weight. But those of us with a normal metabolism, the way to hurry it through there is if you have bone broth in your menus, it keeps your gut healthy with no leaks, no little holes anywhere, no diverticulitis and all of those things that take away from your intestine, moving the food through quickly. And in your intestines is where the enzymes in your body, or the amino acids, etc., are created that fight cancer and diabetes and cirrhosis of the liver and cancer and stroke. And while you're at it, if you have bone broth in all your food, even if you have 8 ounces a day, most doctors have 16 ounces a day, your brain is sharper. There's a swath of cells at the base of our skull. Our whole body is fed from blood, we all know that. But the swath of cells here at the base of your head feed your brain. Your brain doesn't live on blood. Those cells turn blood into brain food. Bone broth goes right there. Anyone I've given bone broth to over the years, flat out calls me, I'm brighter, I'm fresher, I'm more focused. You know, I want you to try it. You instant messenger me, I'll send you anything you want. Fight the monsters with me. Thank you. So, in this pot, we just started a new batch of bone broth, which will cook for 12 hours. And by the way, when you do that, I just timed the garlic. It's 10 minutes, so all the allicin that will be created is created. Now it's in there. Now you want to simmer it, that it's bubbling, but not overly. So take it down to where it stops and then go back a little bit so you have perfect, just simmering. Now, this is the pot I put on last night so I could show you the end process, because it's not easy and it's messy. So turn off your burner. I always do it with a towel under there. This is all the things you saw me put in there with 12 hours of cooking. The chicken, I took the chicken out after an hour. I deboned it. My rule of thumb is I have 2 baggies ready. I put the brown meat in one, and I use it for my Asian soups, for all kinds of chicken sandwiches, yada yada, because it's nice and moist if you don't overcook it. The other bag gets all the white meat, and I make chicken salad with that. Now, when you're cleaning your chicken, the rule is if it's slippery, it goes in the broth. You want all the connective tissue, all the little stuff we would typically say, yeah, that's where the collagen is for your skin, for your bones, for your teeth, for your nails. So a lot of women, I am aware, pay a lot of money to have people stick needles in their face. I would have to hit somebody. I'm not into needles. I hate them. In fact, I was thrown out of a dentist's office for punching him when I was about 10. But also, this is a natural way to fight wrinkles. It's so good for your skin. It increases elasticity. I can't say that word, but you know what I mean. And it fights wrinkles. It fights osteoporosis, all of those things we want. So now when you are ready to strain this, you're going to strain it twice. Sounds like a PIA, but after this is all strained and over here, and I have all the goodies in my strainer, I take the pot, put them back in, put about 1.5 quarts of water in, boil it again for about 10 minutes. What's left on all of this, and I smash the carrots and all that, you'll have another whole 2 quarts of broth. It's as good as the other. You just have to add salt because you just put water in. So I will take all this broth out of here, put it in a big pot. It actually would take 2 pots because I kept the water level up, I'm gonna have 2 gallons of broth. Now, right now, it's a little bit lower than that. And when I put all the goodies that I strain out back in, put the water in, then it brings it to 2 gallons. Mix it in there, because that won't be quite as strong as this is, but if you put some salt in it and taste it, you'll say, my God, this is the best bone broth I ever had. And that's just the rinsing of the crap. That's not even the main stuff. You're gonna find when you put this away, I put it away till the next day. I don't freeze it that day because I want it to get cold, because I want to take off any fat on the top. There's not much fat if you're buying an organic chicken, but sometimes you get lucky. I actually love the broth when they have an old soup chicken. If you can get that, buy it. It's great. And A lot of people ask me about beef bones. I personally don't use beef bones because you have to they're more dense, you have to cook it 16 hours, but there are some benefits of bone broth from chicken that doesn't have. For example, women over 45 are very prone to osteoporosis. Only chicken bone broth fights osteoporosis to all the research I've seen. And be aware, all the things I've said to you today, my favorite book, Eating on the Wild Side, I love it because it has all the research of who came up with this, who came up with that, about the onions and the garlic and yada, yada. I like to know where these opinions came from. And I take full responsibility that I'm saying that bone broth does all that. Why do I say that? I'm not a doctor. I've never had time to be a research physician, which is what I had intended to be in life. But I know that I've been on it most of my life, and I'm 75. And when I find someone who can keep up with me on a work level of energy, then I'll start to doubt my bone broth. It works for me, and I think it'll work for you. Have a good time. Instant message me if you have any questions so I can help. Thank you. Have a great Halloween. Chase those monsters.